Purpose. I tell people all the time that you were created on purpose for a purpose. You know, it might have surprised your parents that you showed up here, but you were no surprise to God. He already had your life in his heart. So take some time today, spend some time with your Father. Make sure you seek him for what your purpose is. And I promise you that the thing you're looking for in the universe is already inside of you. The gift of life and purpose, God has already put inside of you. And let me tell you, the best days that you live in your life will be those days where, number one, you're in God's will. Number two, living your purpose that he put you here for. You're back live on the air with Regina Sunshine and Michael Supreme here on our September Living Like a Boss show. And we have our very first guest of the day. Welcome to the show, Mr. Willie Mason.
Thank y'all so much for being here.
And I met you at Evan Jefferson's book release event, and I took your barbecue sauce home. See, I'm talking about what even let you tell them what it is. I took it home and I ate it on chicken, and I put it on a salad. You name it, I put it on everything. For real. So I'll give you a chance to tell our audience who you are and a little bit about your business.
Well, my name is Willie Mason. We moved here, been there for like 4 years. We come from Virginia. My wife's job, 'cause she worked for the government. Now she works for the federal government. I was sell food. I was to walk and sell food. And people just laugh because I was walking in the rain and sell plates. Then, so a couple months later, then I got a scooter. God bless me with a scooter. Then I had my neighbor down the street, he built me a basket on the rack and had a cooler about that tall. I started living food on the scooter. And I was going to dealerships. And y'all like, man, what you got now? So I sell food. And they was like laughing. I'm like, yeah, that's what I do. I mean, and so after I done it for a while, then I got a truck. Then I had some problem with someone that I thought was a friend. Then got rid of that, so I got another truck. And the sauce, I just started just making it. You know, I get in the kitchen. First I pray. Because I have a big mixer like that, and I got a big bowl. And before I put any ingredients in there, I pray. And then once I do that, I started making my sauce. And, you know, I was doing it, and, you know, not to, like, get into it. That's get in the kitchen. What I call my kitchen the lab. Again, you know, I just have fun. When I really got into it, when I started getting the response from people about it, because like when I did the cherry barbecue sauce and the brown sugar bacon barbecue sauce, when I just did it and it just took off and people just started liking it, I'm like, man, I said, okay, I'm coming out with spicy and pepper sweet, so I'm started working on that. So when I started on this right here, I did not know this right here. I did not know that this was gonna move, because I didn't have no intention that it was. Because I was gonna start making it last month. So on Obey season, we got a barbecue sauce like that. But by the people started liking this, I just started doing it. And been in Kentucky, Virginia. We done left from Raleigh. I sent some to Anchorage, Alaska. Got sent some to Baltimore, Chicago. I got sent some to Indiana. I got sent some to Virginia. Right now, you know, we don't certain things what we got to get done. We're working on that, but certain levels and financial stuff we got to get straight. I just put everything in God's hands. That's what I do. Everybody loves this sauce. I mean, you can put it on anything.
You really can put it. You ain't lying.
I mean, I don't care. You can get this sauce, not being disrespectful. You can get this sauce right here, and you can pour it all over your wife.
Wow.
Wow. With this sauce. and you pour the sauce on your wife too. Trust me, she would tell you stay at home, and she would go work. and give you the paycheck.
Wow.
That's how good this sauce is.
Well, tell us the name of the sauce.
The name of the sauce is it's spicy lemon pepper sweet, Miss T's Deep South style barbecue, and we have the ingredients on there. We got lemon pepper, cayenne pepper, light brown sugar, and white vinegar. The reason why I use vinegar in everything we do, vinegar preserves everything. Vinegar cures everything. You go to my Facebook page, you will see, if you see the way that we clean our meats, like let's say you go to Kroger's, what you can do? You can buy some chicken and do what? Rinse it off, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Just rinse it off and flour it.
Right.
Put it in hot grease.
And be done.
And be done with. Okay. All right. People always say 280 degrees kills everything, right?
Right.
No, it do not. It do not kill everything. You go on my Facebook page, you will see the water. The water that's as black as this. Blacker than this. Because I use vinegar. I use steel vinegar. I use white vinegar. And we preserve our meat. We put it in vinegar, stay there for 4 days.
Wow.
4 days in vinegar. Then I take it out, rewash again, back in just vinegar by itself. Then I season it, put it in the refrigerator. Our meat stays in the refrigerator for maybe about 4 to 5 days.
Wow.
Then we do ourselves like a 2 weeks process. The next following week, I get Black Beauty started up, that's a smoker, then I start smoking.
Black
said
Beauty.
Black Beauty.
Black Beauty.
Yeah, Black Beauty, yeah, Black Beauty. She is from here to a little bit over there, and I got it well on the trailer.
That's awesome.
And and when I do this stuff, I tell people, when I'm cleaning meat, I explain to them, this is the best way you do your meat. Like I see all these places, Purdue, Tyson, and all these chicken places and all these restaurants. Now, prime example, I went to churches, the one on Thornton Road. Yes, I'm gonna speak about it. It been a while back, so I'll get something to eat, me and my wife. So I was talking to a guy. He had I think he had like a 76 beard scallop. So we was talking. So I seen the guy go in the freezer, get the bag of chicken out. Bag had blood in it. He had a bin on top of the trash can, and he just cut the bin open and dumped the chicken in there and put the flour on it. I'm like, And what I did, I took a picture of it. And they didn't have no gloves on. I'm like, and I'm like, nah. And that, it's not that I'm saying that the way we do our food is better than anybody else, but, I like to do our stuff, that I know it's gonna be right, it's gonna be clean, and by using vinegar cleans your body. You can go on, you can Google it, whatever, and it will tell you how good vinegar is. The vinegar that we use. The vinegar that we use, you can clean your house. You can do anything with this vinegar. That's how strong this vinegar is. And I don't like the people that's something to go buy meats, roast pork butts, ribs, and just rinse it off. No, that's in the vinegar. You put it in that vinegar, and if you see, like now, like the chicken that you put on there, the chicken is not shot up. The meats and stuff is not shot up. That stuff is shot up. It's shot up. Now, we let it stay in the vinegar for like 4 days. You will see all the bacteria. Wow. All the stuff that the meat was shot up. All the germ. If I can like get on my Facebook and show you and show everybody in the world, you would like, wow. I'm saying actually about eating this.
Wow. We're thinking we're gonna have a conversation about his barbecue and his stuff, but you're educating
for real
all of us on some things that we need to know.
When you talk about the way that you focus on the cleanliness of this food, I don't know many people that think about it in that way. Like, I can't even say that I've heard my auntie is a caterer, and she has her own catering business. I've never heard of her talk of her food the way that you talk about yours, in that cleanliness fashion. And it's like, that's a lot of passion, brother, a whole lot of passion. So I commend you for what you're doing, like, for real, and I can't wait to taste the sauce. Like, for real.
Sometimes my wife, I get to talking about this so much, and she's like, babe.
Yeah.
Because I'm dedicated to this.
That's it.
I'm dedicated.
That's it.
You don't know. I'm dedicated. Okay, I can show on my Facebook. I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning. I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I pray for everybody in the world.
Mhm.
Everybody in the world.
Mhm.
Read a couple scriptures in the Bible. Then get in the kitchen, pray, and I go to work. And I work from sometimes like 2 in the morning. I might knock off maybe about 4:30 in the afternoon. And then during that time, I'm still working.
Right.
Because I got to get out. I got to go buy supplies. I got to go to dealerships. I got to talk to people. Where this is that. And, my day is not over with until 11:30 at night. When I talk to people, I talk to them. And they got here like, man, you is dedicated to what I said, yes, I am. I'm dedicated. When I get up 2 and 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and do this, and do my foods, like if I'm gonna go sell food or if I'm gonna go to the dealership do an event, this is what I do. I gets up.
Right.
And the only reason I'm lying, because I videoed it. I'm up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
This is what I do. I mean, I talks about it. I mean, I talk about it every day.
Right.
And I'm saying this. My mom came from Virginia. They come here maybe sometimes I stay 2 weeks a month. And so we went out. I had to go take her to Walmart, and people was coming to me. Hey, Ms. What? Hey, Ms. And so we got back to the house. She told me why. She said, all these people talking to him. And why I say everybody know him, because that's what I do, like just like now, if I leave here, like if I go to somewhere, I'll just start talking to people about this, about food, and I pass on my cards. Then later, I have people calling me. They want sauce. I even deliver this. I charge a $2 delivery charge, depending on how far I got to go.
Right.
And this right here is a blessing from God.
With the sauce, how will you be able to change generations beyond your existence, beyond your kids' existence, beyond your kids' existence? And that's just something I'm throwing out there because it's a challenge for everybody. Like it's boss men, boss women as a whole. Like when we're doing things, we have to start thinking generationally. And so I'm just curious, what is that for you?
Well, one thing had been on my mind, had been a while back, when I was growing up. I always had wanted to help people. That's one thing I want to do. I want to be able to help people. I want to, like the women's shelter, the homeless, people need homes, battered kids. I want to see this right here. Like I tell people. Now listen to what I'm going to tell you. Like I tell people, money don't make me. God let money makes me. Just like with this sauce here. Money don't make the sauce. God make the sauce. So everything what I do is in God. And I want to be able to help people, give charities. My kids, my daughter, come down the generation. Okay, this is what you got to do. You got to be able to take this and for to help people out. Don't look at it as making a dollar. See, that's wrong right now. See, when people start off doing this, make money and stuff, it's just like, boom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I might throw this and throw that. But no, if I feel like this, if you're in a situation that you can, just like what you're doing, you're in a situation that you can help people, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? That's my goal.
Right.
And that's been my goal ever since December 13th, 1988, when I had my car accident. I got traumatic brain damage, and I have seizures, and I have strokes. I just got out of the hospital about 3 weeks ago. I was in Kentucky. The Met flight me to Nashville, Tennessee. Wow. That's how bad it was. And I was grateful for to be here last week. Because, they said the doctors, but I say God.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, I like not being here, dude. Trust me. I like not being here.
Got it.
But I am here. And that's ever since I've been going through stuff like that, and that's been in my mind, one day I'm able to help people. One day I'm going to be able to put people in houses. That's what I want. That's my passion.
That's awesome.
That's my goal.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited about that vision being crystallized for you, brother. For real, for real.
Yeah. The next guest doesn't feel like a first-time guest, even though he's officially a first-time guest because he has been here with us before with his daughter. Welcome to the show, Mr. Thomas Priester. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Doing good. I'm going to have you turn your chair a little bit so you're looking
Sure.
at the camera and at it. There we go. Well, I'm going to let you tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you
Sure.
do.
Yeah, I'll give you the short version because I want to get to those ribs myself.
Yes.
So, yeah, Thomas Priester, native New Yorker. Been here in Atlanta for about 10 years now. Serial entrepreneur. I hate to use that term, but that's what I am. Have an insurance brokerage up in Duluth. Teach my kids everything I can about entrepreneur. My daughter wants to say hi this morning. She couldn't be here, but she loves her, Miss Regina. Have a couple of organizations I'm affiliated with. I teach financial literacy in public schools in Atlanta. Right now I'm working on an organization that helps men that have felony records find employment, because that record a lot of times, keeps them from finding gainful employment. And unfortunately, sometimes that puts us in situations that we don't need to be in, with the law, and, could be pretty harmful to us. So I'm working on a project with that. And that's pretty much the short of what I do.
The short of what you do.
Yes.
Well, I like to mention how I met someone, and I can't remember, did we meet at Operation Hope? Did I meet you the first time at Evans event?
I think it was Operation Hope.
Okay, because that's where I saw your
My daughter was a vendor
daughter.
at one of the events. You wore
That's
a
where I
bracelet.
got this
Yes,
bracelet.
Yes.
And if you guys remember, we had the Awesome Girls show. Not the Awesome Girls show. Let me back up. I got two shows mixed up. The Artsy Girls takeover of the Regina Sunshine show, and your daughter JL was one of the guests. Is she still 16? How is she now?
She's 16. She had just turned 16. She was so excited. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
business owner. Is that one of her bracelets
This
as
is one of
well?
her
Dad's
newer
one of her
bracelets.
bracelets.
Yep, always.
And that's how I got to meet you. And she is such a beautiful reflection of what you're teaching her.
Thank you.
Because you just said you pass it on to your children, the things you have learned,
Yeah.
and she is so confident and strong.
Too confident.
No, there's no such thing. There's no such thing. And so sure of herself
Yeah.
that, again, it is a beautiful reflection of what you have poured
I
into
appreciate
her.
that. Thank you. Thank you.
So let's get into this financial literacy piece.
Sure.
Because it is one of the missing components in our community,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to our young people learning from an early age what it means to be a business owner, or what it means to have multiple streams of income. All these
Right.
different conversations that we are beginning to have now openly that haven't really been had.
Right.
For a long time. Why was it important to you that you begin to take that knowledge and that information into the public school system?
Right. Well, I have over 15 years experience in the insurance industry. And I work with some of the, major companies out there, Mutual of Omaha, Transamerica, a lot of the big hitters. And back in 2014, I launched my company, my financial services company, with a focus on educating our community on the importance of insurance products and financial literacy. Unfortunately, when it comes to, different insurance products, a lot of times people just think about burial. But there's so many other ways you can use insurance to build legacy, to build wealth. And that's one of the things that we teach on. At its basis, yes, you do need to make sure your burial's covered so your family's not doing a GoFundMe page and, fish fries and things like that. Yeah, so, that's our focus, is just making sure people understand what it is and how to use it. A lot of times we do have it, we just don't know how to use it, or we don't have the right kind. So we do a lot of informational sessions and seminars on educating people on that. Financial literacy, obviously, big thing in our community, people living from paycheck to paycheck. There's levels to the money game, and there's some simple things that we teach that you can apply every day, to help build towards that wealth. I mean, I always tell people one of the keys is make more than you spend. If you're spending, right at the amount you make, how are you going to build, anything? It's some simple things we can do every day. So that's what I teach, my kids. All right, you're about to spend $10 at McDonald's. Once that McDonald's is gone, then what do you have?
Right.
Stomachache, full belly full a little bit, a stomachache. But what if you can take that $10 and plant it somewhere where it makes you a couple more dollars?
Right.
I always tell my kids, okay, y'all into Apple and, all these different products. Why not buy stock? Why not buy something that is going to give you some value, a year, 2 year, 3. We got to stop just spending, our seed. We eat everything. We devour everything. And then at the end of the day, there's nothing left to grow.
So when you're having these conversations, what is that other than, of course, make more than you spend? What's the next level that you find that people are most ignorant about? What's that next thing?
Right.
I need to make sure you know this before we go any further.
For me, it's investing. You know, having your money sit in the bank doesn't do anything for you. I mean, bank accounts, savings accounts really don't give anything. And to be honest with you, if you have your money sitting in a non-interest-bearing account, you're losing money because you're not even keeping up with inflation. So if inflation is 2.4%, you got your money sitting in a bank account that's making zero, guess what? You're losing money. So, you know, I always tell people after you have, you know, your emergency fund set up, you need to find different things to invest in. And, you know, a lot of people get scared with, I don't want to lose money. I don't know what. There's a lot of things that you can do to learn how to invest. You know, small steps, small things you can invest in. I like to invest in my community. I just invested in a black-owned water company out of Texas, doing some great things. You know, small input, you know, to get started, not a lot of fees and things like that, but it grows. You know, people are talking about things like Bitcoin and stuff like that. That's great, but you got to understand it. Mm-hmm. You got to learn how to invest. That's how wealthy people make their money. It's not about the income paycheck to paycheck. It's about having that investment income, you know. And I follow a lot of, investors, and one of the, wealthiest investors in this country is Warren Buffett. You know, and he always talks about, this man is 80 plus years old. He still invests to this day because he understands it's a game. There's levels to it. He puts his money in just to find strategies to get it back out. We can't be afraid of things like that. You know, we just have to learn, but we have to learn to invest.
So when you go into the schools or when you're teaching these financial literacy classes, what are some of the top questions that you get?
With the kids is always how to make money. They always want to know how to make money. But what we do is we teach them how to be successful entrepreneurs. I mean, business ownership is the key. Mm-hmm. You're taxed differently. You have more control. So what we do is we go on and we help them, put together a business plan. We help them cultivate their ideas to see if there's really something we can build into a viable business. And then we take them from that stage all the way to a fully functional business. One of the organizations I work with, Operation Hope, actually does pitch competitions with the kids where if you win, they'll give you $500 towards starting your business. Mm-hmm. So, you can go ahead and incorporate your business. You can go ahead and get your business cards, do your advertising, buy all the products and things you need. So, that's one of the things we teach them is not to be tied into your traditional 9 to 5. The economy is changing, the financial landscape and the employment landscape is changing. So, we try to put them in a position where they have a lot more control than, your typical traditional situation where if they downsize, you're laid off. It's changing. I mean, I went to a McDonald's the other day with my son, and they have the, I call them robots, but you go ahead and you place your order on a machine mm-hmm. now. Yeah. I mean, there was one young lady behind the counter, and, after you place your order on the machine, it spits out a ticket with a number. They call your number, you go and get your food. So all those jobs are gone. Mm-hmm. And a lot of our young people, fast food was their introduction into the workforce. That's gone. So now, a lot of people they deem this the gig economy, where people have side hustles. You're doing Uber or you're doing some freelance photography, you're doing that. And that's how people are making a lot of their money, because a lot of the traditional jobs are no longer there. So you got to find ways to create. So we try to put them in a position to do that by teaching them how to be entrepreneurs and to start their own businesses.
Well, you mentioned Operation Hope, and I'll go back to that. First of all, I think people really don't know what goes on with Operation Hope. Yeah. And that conference is bar none. Yeah. The best conference. I've been 2 years in a row now. Yeah. And in terms of expanding your mind and your thought process. And I was so impressed to see, and there were different groups that had sponsored young people to be there, because for most of them, you're sitting in a room with multiple billionaires and people who, for real, are making money on a higher level and who think in a totally different way than people they're around on a daily basis. Right. And so when I was thinking about that, this is the question I had. One of the biggest things we're going to have to do with young people is begin to change their thought process, begin to change their mindsets by exposing them to things that they won't see on a daily basis. How can we do that in an everyday setting, really begin to change their thought process?
Well, I try to, with my children, is expose them to things that are not the norm. You speak of the conference. I always push my kids, just do it. So we were at the conference. My daughter,
Who was amazing on stage.
Yeah.
I have to tell you,
and,
she's amazing on
the crazy
stage.
part about that is she wasn't supposed to be on stage.
Really?
We were at an event the Saturday prior, and we were just doing some brainstorming about the upcoming event. They said, we need an MC. We don't want an adult to do it. We want a kid to do it this year. And my daughter was sitting in the back, so I called her over, and I was like, hey, here's an opportunity. I say, take it. I just tell them, take it. We'll figure it out later. Never pass up an opportunity.
Yeah.
So, she reluctantly was like, okay. She didn't really know what it was. She just thought she was gonna hand out an award or something. So they were like, okay, we'll send you the script over the weekend. The event started Monday. This was a Saturday. So we get there Monday. She still doesn't have the script. And she's like, well, Dad, what am I doing? I said, oh, just a little this, a little that. And they call her into this back room. And there's about a team of 3 people working with her to develop this script. And they're like, okay, what's going to happen is we're going to go live at this time. There's going to be about 4,000 people in the room.
Yeah.
We're streaming live on live on
Right.
CNBC or whatever.
Yeah.
And now the panic is starting to set in because she's got like 45 minutes to figure all this out. She went out there and she killed it.
She did.
I mean, they invited
I never
her
would have
back.
known that backstory because it
Yeah.
was like she owned the stage.
Yeah. So that's my thing. I always just expose them to things. Go out and try it. What's the worst that can happen? You bomb, whatever. We all do that. I mean, failure is part of success. It's part of growth. So, that's my thing. I always expose them to things that are not the norm. My son this summer took a stock trading class. It's like everybody else is hanging out playing video games, on the basketball court. No, we're going to do something different. So he fell in love with it. I was like, 3 weeks I had to drive down to Georgia Tech. I was regretting it living up in Gwinnett. But you know what? It was something I needed to expose him to because it broadened his perspective, his horizon. So things like that, I always say, get out of your comfort zone. That's the first thing. A lot of times things we're fearful of, once we face them, it's nothing to be afraid of. She was on stage in front of 4,000 people. She loves to talk now. I mean, everything's a little stage for her. Once you do it that big, everything else seems so much easier.
Yeah.
That's big. That's big. I had a question about the piece you were talking about, an organization you work with, or organization you have that works with the felons.
Yeah, we it's called Impact Atlanta.
Okay.
We're in the process of putting together right now. Again, what we're trying to do, just like with the youth, is put our men in a position to better provide for themselves and their families.
Right.
You look at some of the situations where we had encounters with police. My man Eric Garner up in New York selling cigarillos on the corner. Little side hustle trying to make a couple of extra dollars. Didn't need to die for that.
Right.
The brother down in New Orleans, his name escapes me real quick. But he was down there selling CDs, to support his family. He's a felon. He couldn't get a job. The guy that he was selling in front of the shop was like, hey, he never caused any problems. I mean, this guy would come out here in the morning, sell some CDs. And the beautiful part about it is some of the money he was making, he would help other people on the streets. He would come in and buy him water or chips or whatever. He lost his life. So my thing is, what if we can put these brothers in a space where they can create and provide for their families without having to do some of these things? I mean, the work ethic is there.
Right.
He's there every day, rain, shine, whatever, selling CDs because he needs to provide for his family. And it broke my heart when you saw his son on TV crying that he wants his dad, he misses his dad. So, our thing is, we try to put men in that position in a space where we teach them skills, entrepreneurial skills, and connect them with business owners and help them, develop and grow their own businesses. So again, they can provide for themselves and for their families, because as men, at our core, we're providers.
Right.
And you take that from a man, you put him in a bad space.
Right.
For these brothers, fortunately, they didn't do anything, illegal. They were, just trying to, but some of our brothers, unfortunately, they go out and do some things that, put them in a bad space. So we just try to create opportunity for them to put them on the right path.
That's big. And so for business owners, how do they get on as one of the businesses that you all connect with and are able to send felons through? And I'm asking the question strategically and intentionally.
Sure.
Because I know 2 people that one guy has a trucking company.
Right.
That major contracts with Home Depot, everything. And he consistently, the only people he hires are felons because he's an ex-felon. And then another person that does landscaping, same situation, ex-felon. The only person he hires is ex-felon.
Yeah, right now we are seeking, people that are business owners that are willing to work with our men in our community. So we're putting that piece together right now, but I'll be more than happy to share my information if people are saying, yeah,
Okay.
I would definitely like to, be one of those businesses that will sponsor one of these brothers or, help walk them through that process
Right.
of creating their own. We're definitely looking for people like that because we're in that building phase right now, because by the end of the year, we want to open it up and start bringing in, our men.
Got it.
We want to have everything in place so we can say, hey, here's a business mentor for you.
Right.
That's what we're trying to do, get the mentors and businesses in place. So once we open up, we can automatically connect. Because, it has to happen quick for a lot of these people.
Definitely.
We have a couple of things we're working with now where some of the guys that are about to be released within the next 6 months, we're actually going to start going to the prison systems to prep them. So as soon as they come out, they got something to walk into.
Right.
Because one of the reasons our recidivism rate is so high, there's nothing out here.
Nothing to fall back into.
you
but the streets.
The job situation is bad for those of us who do have degrees and diplomas and no records. It's that much harder for the brother that has the felony on his record. So, those are the things that we're trying to map out right now.
Got it. Well, definitely. Before you leave, let's connect.
Absolutely. Yes. Definitely.
Well, I was already thinking about the entrepreneurship piece that you're putting together at the Y. Did you want to mention that? Are y'all still working on that? Because I'm like, this is the perfect connection.
It's a beta test phase of what we're doing. We're calling it a success series.
Okay.
Over at the Y, and it's going to be an Andrew Young Entrepreneurs Incubator that we're putting together. And so it's strategically focused on teaching people the fundamentals of success.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, it's you could be a Pee Wee League player, sports player, right? Basketball. The only difference that sets you apart from where you are in LeBron James, it's the length of time you've been playing the game,
right,
and how serious you are about it.
Right.
And so it's the same thing with success. It don't matter whether you shoveling poop or whether you desiring to create the top Fortune 500 business. Like the fundamentals to go from ground zero to there are the same.
Right.
And so through the YMCA, what we'll be doing is we'll be teaching that fundamentals to a strategic group and consistently doing that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I love to get involved.
Okay.
That's my thing. I want to educate. That's what we do. So, I would love to get involved.
Awesome. So we'll connect, man. I'll learn more about your story, and we'll see about that platform.
Sure, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, see, this B.O.S. is definitely a place of divine connections, and I always know that, this guy here, if he meets you and he got a spot for you, he will put you to work.
That's what it's about.
Really fast, right?
That's what it's about. That's community.
So when we met at Evan's event, we were talking then about some of the things that you and these other guys were putting together in terms of not just helping young people in school, but also in the community. This is kind of a brotherhood question.
Sure.
What has it been like for you to be able to operate in a space where you got men around you who truly have the same heart as yours and also have the willingness to make things happen with you?
Right. So my thing is we need, as men, accountability, partnership, and community. And, I grew up playing sports, so very competitive a lot of times. And I've seen that carry over into a lot of our dynamics and relationships when it comes to other men. And I had to get to a space where, like you were sharing earlier, I can't do this by myself. Right. So there were some barriers that I had to break down and say, you know what, let me humble myself and go to this brother and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Can we partner? Can we, lab together and figure this thing out together? So for me, that process has made me more effective when working with the young people because I'm starting out with them at a younger age. It's okay to be competitive, but there's a line of being competitive and going over, so that's been a great benefit and help to me. So, being able to establish those relationships with other men and carrying that over to the young people has definitely been a benefit for me. I'm 40 plus now, and I still need mentors, whether it be in my business life, my professional life. And, that's just been the transition that I've just really been working on over the last year, is really making sure I have those connections with other brothers that are there to help, support, and keep me accountable to the mission, the cause, and the purpose.
Well, we have Mr. Alvin Thomas back with us, and he was talking before about a book that he was writing. It has manifested. and he is here to talk to us about manning up, a man's role in breaking the grip of domestic violence. Welcome back to the show, brother.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be back. Glad to see everybody.
It's good to see you. It's so good to see you. So what has happened since we saw you last?
Ah.
What's been going on?
Oh, a lot. Just been finally came to fruition with a lot of prayer, a lot of self-examination, and I was able to get it down on pages in a book to share. So I'm excited about it.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, yes. You know, and it's so funny, me and Laris were talking about this. He said, everybody's writing a book. He said, people just writing a book to say they're writing a book. And they ain't got no real information to share, right, Laris?
That's right, that's
but
right.
a brother like you, we know, who has a heart for people and does have something to share. It's a blessing to know that you have taken the time to
And
put
a real
something
story.
together.
You know,
Yes.
I remember that it was February, right? Or was that March? J.R. Crickets.
It may have been March. Was it March?
It was in March. Sure.
Yeah, and I think we first got on there. I don't know if you remember. I just hugged you.
Yeah.
You know, I was overwhelmed, and to know that I was born in Wilmington, Delaware, and that's where you're from as well. You know, so I know a lot about that area, and I mean, you really are. That's like coming out of Nazareth, you know, back in the day. So yeah, I'm happy for you, brother.
And I thank you all for your inspiration along the way. You know, helping each other with the little things makes a big difference to anyone that's trying to move forward. So I appreciate your invitations to other events, and I thank you.
Well, tell us about your book.
Manning Up, a role in breaking the grips of domestic violence and abuse. It is written as a self-study, and it is written also as a group study, as well as it's written for self-conversation and a group conversation. You know, it's times that we have to, it gives you an opportunity to conversate with yourself about your thoughts and your beliefs, what you were brought up on about domestic violence and abuse, and what it looks like and what it is. So it gives you an opportunity to have a self-examination. I have a little quiz in here that I tell the guys who go through it. It's not a test of right and wrong. You go through the quiz. You don't have to hand it in to me or share it with anyone else unless you want to, but it shows a reflection of who you are and where you are at that point. And then when it gets into a group organization who uses it, again, we're able to bounce off each other our beliefs. I mean, because a lot of things that we have been brought up with, we don't really know what's right or wrong. And so this book helps you recognize some of the things you may be saying, some of your gestures that you know are used to doing that are actually abusive, and how it can offend not just your wife or partner, your children, you know, who are watching us every day. To self-examine, just take a self-examination of yourself and get those things in order. It's never too late. It's never too late to pick up a book and see a reflection and move on. The excuse of this is just how I am is no longer optional.
Right.
So, you know, this is what Manning Up is about. It came from the heart as personal testimonies, as well as years of training and experience. The personal testimony in here, I think, is the most effective part of the book because it speaks to us like we speak to each other. So yeah, that's Manning.
Like I appreciate the self-assessment piece, you know, because that's one of them things that people don't do often. You know, like a lot of people go through life and they don't really look at that man in the mirror and understand what's really going on with self as they're moving through the world. So the fact that you're able to put that in a book form, and then you're giving it to kids when you go through the schools as well.
Yeah, it's written easy reading, and I wrote it small on purpose because as a note or a general note, men as a whole, we're not long length readers. I could have made a book as thick as a Bible,
Right.
but I wanted them to be able to start it and complete the book.
That's great insight
and pull
there.
something out of there. So, yeah.
Because I hate reading books. I've got plenty of them. I start them, and I just, you know, my attention span, man, it's just so small.
Right.
You know, that if it's not enjoyable reading, you know, I'm going to get bored very easy. I'm going to start getting tired, actually.
Yeah,
You know,
and when we look at our youth, you know, the attention span of our youth are even smaller than what we have. We've learned patience.
Right.
they haven't gotten there yet. So when they pick up the book and are able to complete the book in a day, 2 days, then they're able to absorb something out of it. They can take that with them from Friday and start working with it on Monday.
Right.
So, you know,
That's big.
like that.
That's big.
So, is there? And obviously, I want to get the book now.
Yeah.
But is there anything in there that addresses disengaging from the early signs of an unhealthy relationship? Because a lot of what I know to be true as a man is that a lot of times things can start off a certain way, any relationship for that matter. But there are triggers in everybody. And, I mean, I know you do this for a living as well, to a degree, correct?
I'm an educator in a school district, but every day it's teaching our youth, young men and women, of how to recognize when someone is disrespecting you, what is not right or wrong. So yes, I do it as a profession.
All right, and so so I just wanted to know, you do have some of that in the book, I'm assuming.
Yes. When I talk about personally, I go way back and I think about moms. Moms was a great teacher of how to recognize crazy, so to speak. And I don't want to put that out there as a joke, but again, there are signals, there are signs that they're put up in front of us every time we meet someone. Doesn't take us long,
Right.
but we sometimes look over it for various reasons. We look over the sign of, okay, something's just not right, So something's not right here, but we look over because she's so fine, And I say that because it works both ways. He's so fine, and so we move whatever trigger that there is, even the way they introduce themselves to you. It can start from there. An introduction makes a big difference in the beginning of a relationship. And that sounds like a cliche, but it's a fact that first impressions make a big difference. So when we see those triggers, I have a chapter just about in here, which talks about triggers and how to recognize triggers and how to immediately put a stop to triggers. A section where I spoke to a group of young women one time, and it was in a correctional center, and we were talking about triggers and what was okay or what was a deal breaker. And I moved on, gave different scenarios of how would you react to your boyfriend who gets in an argument with you and he gets so angry that he punches the wall. Well, they say, well, he didn't hit me, so it's fine. I say, well, it's okay, or is that a deal breaker? What I tell my daughters, that's a deal breaker. But no, they say he didn't hit me, so that's fine. We can move on from there. Next situation that comes in and you get in another argument and he just grabs you. Didn't hit you, just grabs you. And, well, he didn't hit me. So we're good. We can move on from there. He loves me. He's just a little jealous. Next situation. Well, you know what? That puppy he brought you for Christmas comes in this time. He's so angry. He takes that puppy, kicks that puppy across the floor. They go, oh, no, it's over. I'm like, now, okay, help me understand. Because if he's going to kick a little small puppy across the floor, who's that puppy's dear to you, what do you think's going to happen next? So we try to get him to focus. It shocked me from that first time that I did that, of the reaction of they actually let it go that far until the puppy. Now, that's abuse there, to kick a puppy across the floor. But they are looking more at it actually hurt them than the signs that were there to show that he was going to hurt you. Puppy was one thing, which is abuse. And I'll say that small in a small manner, because anytime that you abuse an animal, you're going to abuse a person.
Right.
So those triggers that are there. So that's just one of the small things I'll put in there. But there are so many triggers that we again overlook and don't count as credible reasons to move on or address the situation at least. So yes, sir.
Well, one of the things I love about you and what you do is that you have a different mindset from most of the world when it comes to people who have been abusers. This world in general says an abuser, throw them away. They're nothing. They're unredeemable. But even from the first time I met you, I recognized that for you, it's a way that you can reach people and help them, restore their lives and find that place again where they can be the person they want to be, not only for those that they love, but for society. How has it been to be a part of that? Because most of the world, I'm sure you've heard it. Forget about them. They don't matter. But for you to say, no, what, they do matter. That's still some person's loved one. They matter to God, so they matter to me. What has it been like to be that person?
It's been challenging at many points, but because I know that it's a fact, I've seen it work. I've been personal friends with some abusers. I watched them abuse their spouses and abuse everyone around them, abuse themselves. And to see them change over the years, piece by piece, it's not an overnight thing. Mm-hmm. And we can't look at and expect ourselves as abusers to think it's going to be an overnight thing. If we commit to change, and we, just like anything else, if you commit to change and you make the steps towards change, you can change. So that's why I don't throw them away. They are people with struggles, just like anybody else. We all have our struggles in some area. And so to throw them away would not be doing what God planned for us to do for our fellow man. We can't throw them away. I watched them. I watched them change. And so it's when I can change a young man's mind, when I can help a young man see the difference, how to treat themselves, how to treat the women and girls around them, it's even more satisfying because they don't have to go through the things that occur when they abuse others. When you abuse someone else, you're abusing yourself. You just don't know it until it catches up with you. So yeah, it challenging because of the mindset. You have some abusers that just say that this is just who I am. My father did it. His father did it. All my uncles did it. You don't have to. This book will help you in a very upfront way to see how things generationally occur. Things just don't happen, haphazardly. There's something back there that kicked this off. There's somebody who abused you because it's a taught thing. It's a learned thing. There's somebody who abused you in some kind of way for you to exhibit that kind of behavior yourself. So to see the slight changes gratifies me and just annuls all the challenges that I have been through to get there.
Awesome. Guys.
Yeah, you just said a mouthful. I was talking yesterday actually with my father about how we are this is why I have such big problems with the church, and I'm never afraid to voice it because it needs to be said and these people need to be called out for this. We live in a society, evangelical, you see it all in politics and everything, that preach, a doctrine of Jesus Christ, and the message of Jesus Christ was redemption, and yet we do not redeem. And the church is the first culprit to not do it. And so it's a breath of fresh air to see that you're doing God's work.
Yes, sir.
So I thought about that as you were talking, and then also I think that you said a whole lot when you said it's a learned thing, because it is a learned thing. And so you can't even be at 35. I'm understanding now, Regina. You can't even learn until you begin to unlearn. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is serious. So, I mean, we started talking about slavery and dating this thing way back. The slave master could put his hands on whoever he wanted. He had jurisdiction over him. He had authority over him. And he also, we then took from that the way that we instruct and chastise is by whooping. And so it goes from whooping to domestic violence, because when you believe in your mind that you have been given authority over someone, then you can handle that situation as an authoritarian. And it's not, God never said that, but we've been this has been so entrenched us in the Bible, this misogyny and everything. You know, this is what was used to make us believe this. So you said a lot there. I really appreciate it. It is very important that we work hard. In fact, we got to work in overtime, triple time, to reform the image of black men in our community, because we've got so many different outlets, media outlets, that are throwing bad things in the faces of people who still want to oppress us, in the faces of our women, in the faces of our young men who don't have, those role models frequently around them enough to know what we really look like. So that's one of the beautiful things here. And so if we could do that, if we could just take time to reiterate what it is, it's not what. So I don't know what everybody does, right? But it should be your why. Everybody has a different what. But how are we using our what to impact our why? Brother, you can go right ahead.
Okay, so the what I do is connecting, right? Connecting people, and the why is to create generational change. And going deeper into it, it's like when we look at, I tell people all the time, when we look at the churches, when we look at the schools, and we look at the community organizations, there's division across the board. And how could you expect to move forward if you're divided, where your kids spend most of their time? And at school, right? They spend majority of the time at school, but there's division there. And then the parents say go to church when you're little, and they force you into church. But then you get to church and you realize, okay, if I'm Baptist, then Catholic's not cool. It's almost like Crips and Bloods and all this other stuff, but you're in the church. And so it's like what we have to do is we have to eliminate that division, and so through the connection of people and the power of unity, like I spoke about earlier, we'll be able to move forward, and we'll be able to create a solid foundation for generational change. Because my mother told me, and we all have mothers, and for those that have had full conversations with their mothers growing up, like mothers drop jewels, dads drop jewels, but as young people, a lot of times we don't listen. And so my mother told me when I was little, and I was really, really active at the beginning, just when I was really allowing God to use me and not knowing what I was doing, she was like, son, if you want to create change that you're going to see in this lifetime, connect community organizations, churches, and schools. I was like, Mom, that's ridiculous. And then for me, what happened was I taught an acting class at the Tupac Shakur Center, and I saw the statue of Tupac in the garden, and the quote that was at the bottom of the statue said, I can't promise I will change the world, but I can promise something I do or say will spark the mind of somebody that will. And in that moment, I immediately started thinking about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Mother Teresa, Joel Osteen, like all of these different people that's done great things. And it's like when Malcolm X and Martin Luther King moved and did what they did, they didn't have the connection of the full church, right? They didn't have the support of the full community. Like they had to do what they could do, what they could with what they have. But when we look at what we have right now, we could walk into any school and say this is how we want to run things. We could walk into any church and say this is what it's going to be. Same thing with community organizations. But that what is connections, and that why is for generational change through the power of unity.
Absolutely.
That's powerful. We talked about, brother was talking about competition earlier and how competitive he was, and how competition, it can be a tool of division. Mm-hmm. But if we compete against the team of right and wrong, the team of good and bad as a unified party, then we'll get a lot of things done. We stay too divided as men. Men, there's strength in numbers of men. Men make things move forward. So, the competitive part struck me a lot. What I try to show is the what for me is to show strength, to show compassion as a strong man. You have to get that balance, because you can't show any weakness. Again, I have a tough educational career. as far as the students that I have. But if you show any weakness, and that's coming off the game of falling where they are, falling what they're used to. You know, they're getting cussed out every day. Of course they're getting cussed out. They wouldn't know the words they call me.
Right,
They didn't
right.
get cursed out. But you can't break. You know that there's still someone in there that needs help. Mm-hmm. So we have to show strength. When you see a group of brothers, don't look down on the ground. Look away. Look up. Look them in the eyes. And allow them to see strength in your eyes. It's not competition. I'm not trying to compete against you, young man. I'm trying to show you strength from a man who's been where or understand somewhat where you are. We can't say we always understand because there's some situations out there that we've never been through, but I'm here. And I'm here to help you, and I'm here to listen to you, and I'm strong enough to take what you can give me. So yes, strength is what I give.
Got it.
Yeah, I love the question. And for me, the why has become legacy. You know, I shared earlier, 40 plus now, my mortality has become a real thing to me. You know, I'm not young anymore, in a sense. I can't do certain things anymore. I was at the gym the other day on the basketball court. My mind's doing one thing, my body's doing something else. So just understanding that I want to leave a legacy that carries on after I'm gone. We got a lot of work to still do. And, my thing is to connect to as many people as possible that are moving forward. It's been a tremendous blessing to meet you. This brother right here, he's
Full of wisdom.
Yeah. So, that's my thing is understanding the dynamics of legacy. What am I doing here and now that's going to carry on after I'm gone? Am I making the right connections? Am I planting the right seeds? Am I doing the right thing? And that's really been what my motivating why has been, here for the past couple of years, just making sure.
Well, been another good day here as usual. And I can only say this, and I think that we all get it, but I'll tie it up in a bow and say it, that so goes us, so goes the community. Know that for sure. And as a man, the most courageous thing you can be is yourself. Once you figure that out, everything else gets easier.
Well, Ned, I know we're way over time. I thank you guys. That was a real boss moment. That's what's supposed to happen here. It's supposed to be a space where men can truly connect and speak life into each other. And I've seen it happen over and over again. I thank you guys for being willing to love each other and to support each other and to speak life into each other. The last thing I'm going to share is the boss mandate. God gave this to me when I started Boss back whenever I didn't think I was supposed to do this. And this is what he gave me, and this is for our men. And it's directly from his heart to yours. It says, be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their ancestors to give them. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that ye may be successful wherever you go. Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so that ye may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And that's Joshua 1:6-9. And it goes hand in hand with what our brothers just said. I'm a true believer that when our men really take their rightful place and they understand that God is with them and they can show up in numbers and be a true brotherhood, then our community will be led to the place that we're supposed to be. And I, as one of the women who love you, and Abria and Ned, we got your back. We just need you guys to lead us, and we're going to take this thing back. All right. To our audience, we thank you so much for tuning in. We love you guys. To our boss guys, I tell you, remember this. You are a champion. You were born to win. You are more than a conqueror. You will achieve your dreams. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You are magnificent, beautiful, amazing men, and you are worthy of the best things in life. You guys have a great day. And remember this, our boss motto. Our men need each other, but more than that, our community needs our men. You guys have a great day. God loves you just the way you are. You are beautiful because you were created in love. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. You have the seeds of greatness within you. You were born to live a victorious life. You are brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. You are worthy of the best things in life.